Okay, people, so not only was Chainsaw Man episode 4 an excellent, yet again, display of how freaking crazy this series is, but also there was some stuff that was added that was not in the manga, and we're gonna dive into those scenes in particular because, yeah, Chainsaw Man pretty much slaying and doing the damn thing. It's a freaking incredible ride, and episode 4 nonetheless also introduced some characters that you're probably gonna love, and at the same time continue to expand on characters that I love, okay, because power, baby, I can't believe Fujimoto created such a character that is just so freaking hilarious and absolutely amazing, and of course everybody else is in the series. Let's talk, baby. So we start back up with Chainsaw Man episode 4, going back into a flashback with Power, where she was and how she was feeling after her cat, Meowie, was kidnapped by that giant bat, and you could definitely see she was a lot more wild than she is now. Like, Power has had character development along the way, even before we got to seeing her now. Granted, she's still kinda nasty because, yo, her commentary about bathing and toilets is absolutely disgusting, dog. I ain't gonna deny that. Like, she is a buffoon to a certain degree, but I can only imagine how much worse it would have been had we gotten the Power that started this episode off running bucket naked down the street and, yeah, just being a mad woman. So, at the very least, we're not dealing with that version of Power, although, god damn it, that would have been just even worse than what we got now. But yes, indeed, Denji has defeated the Bat Devil, and he is, of course, on his way to his ultimate goal, and Power basically tells him, hey, come on, come on, lad, you can have what you want now. But another devil appears shortly after. I believe it was a devil that was kind of connected and rocking with the Bat Devil, and yet again, Denji has something else to face off against, and for the most part, I was kind of like the Bat Devil, I was a little bit scared, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, yo, how's Denji gonna be able to do it? This devil, the only reason that kind of made me feel a little bit like, okay, maybe we're on to something in terms of giving Denji a challenge, was the fact that one of his arms got cut off in the very beginning. Granted, the devil caught Denji off guard, so you could throw the argument like, dog, it's not like, you know, this devil was all that in a bag of chips. You caught Denji off guard, but nevertheless, that was the only reason why I felt a little bit menacing from that devil. But aside from that, I was just like, yo, dog, you saw what Denji just did? He just packed up that bat over there. What do you think you about to do, dog? Like, you better get out of my face. But Denji definitely had his hands filled, and honestly, he probably would have taken the L, because throughout that entire battle, which kind of felt like it went on a bit, I ain't gonna lie, now that I think about it, it definitely went on with a lot of monologuing and squeezing the life out of Denji, so to speak. But we get introduced to Aki's technique, where pretty much Aki looks like he's throwing up some, I don't freaking know, Illuminati signs or some shit like that, and blast through this devil, saving Denji, and that's so condensed as to what happened, but yeah, you get the drift, and pretty much we get to see that his ability is some sort of weird giant wolf devil thingy-majig that destroys and whatnot, and he has to, like, basically make deals with this devil, so to speak. So very peculiar to see a technique like that, and at the same time it's also introducing the idea that regular humans can also combat these devils and whatnot without actually being a fiend or a devil, because Aki is just a regular person, but clearly he has some sort of deal going where he's able to manifest that power. And again, it was a little bit strange, and the design was crazy, and in general the art and animation, I gotta stress that Studio Mappa yet again has been slaying it. At that, I want to say that with 4 episodes deep, considering there was a lot of worries and a lot of like, oh man, you know, what's this 3D CG gonna look like? 3D CG has been phenomenal whenever it is there. It wasn't really that much shown in this episode, but whenever 3D is there, it's fine. When it's 2D, it's top of the line 2D. I mean, for crying out loud, even some of the scenes of just Aki waking up and starting up breakfast and stuff like that, they just make sure not only is the art fantastic, but the animation, the subtle movements and whatnot, all of it is just 20 out of 10. So in terms of visuals, if you're worried about Chainsaw Man, there's nothing to worry about, at the very least, if we're basing off of what the first 4 episodes did, because every freaking scene looks incredible. On top of that, again, when Aki is blowing up that freaking devil, it looked fantastic. For the most part, this episode was a straight 1-to-1 of the manga. I believe it started off like chapter 10, around there and went all the way to about like the beginning of chapter 12, but there were some scenes that were added into the anime that weren't in the manga. I'd imagine just to add a little more of a rapport between like the characters and whatnot, because the scene following that devil getting defeated by Aki saving Denji and whatnot, where he goes to report to Makima, didn't happen in the manga. In the manga, it goes straight from there to him on the phone with Makima talking about Power showing up at his apartment. That scene where he goes to report into Makima was definitely adding in there to add a little bit more of like, yo, Aki's really a soldier, he really wants to report to the brass, so to speak. On top of that, just to see Makima's reactions and how she feels about Aki, it kind of adds a little bit in there, but at the same time, you could take it or leave it personally. Like, it was a great scene and whatnot, but it doesn't really add much value to the entire situation, and it's totally fine where it cuts from, you know, the end of that battle where Aki defeats that giant devil to, hey, Power's in the apartment. Like, that was a totally okay segment that would have totally been fine. So it wasn't like it was necessarily needed per se. It was just kind of like, okay. And even certain scenes were extended as well, because following that, again, it does cut to the morning, waking up and Aki making breakfast, and a lot of that stuff was just straight up like, hey, adding extra pieces to make it feel like normal life stuff. And honestly, again, fine stuff. Like, it's not like it drags or bogs down the episode. It's not like it makes it feel like, oh god, it's going slow. Like, it works fine. And to rewind a little bit, because we did get a couple of introductions to some of the best characters in Chainsaw Man as well, although you will probably, if you follow me through this Chainsaw Man journey, hear me say that every character in Chainsaw Man is the best character in Chainsaw Man, because I kind of like me some Chainsaw Man. Just gotta throw that in there, mate. Because we get introduced to two characters, one of which has an eye patch named Himeno, and the other one is a seemingly timid girl named Kobeni. And we didn't really get too much interactions with them. We know that in particular they're a part of, or they rock with, Aki's squad, and Himeno seems like a very interesting character, but we didn't get too much. But I just wanted to point it out and note it that, yeah, those characters are gonna be pretty important. You might want to pay attention to them moving forward, because they're gonna rock the show, lads. But cutting back, we get to the apartment scene where Denji and Aki have just woken up from the previous day, and yeah, Power is barging in, baby. Power is here for the stay. She kicks open the freaking door before they can even open it, and she immediately starts just bashing the apartment like, yo, dog, like, they got you in here, this is so cramped, what's going on in here? And I'm just there like, the audacity, dog. You are finally being moved out of living in the freaking office. You're going to live in an apartment, and then on top of that, you go and shit on Aki's apartment. Like, Power, I love you, sweetheart, but you gotta chill a little bit. You gotta learn some manners, because it gets even worse. It's like, you already come in rude as hell, kicking in the door, all of that good stuff, but then on top of that, you start giving your commentary on showering and on using the toilet, and it's like, oh, why would I want to flush so much? Like, I don't want to flush so much, and oh god, like, I take baths very little here and there, not really into bathing. You disgusting woman, you amazingly beautiful, hilarious, but nevertheless disgusting woman, get in the goddamn shower, Power. We love you to death. You're one of the best characters so far of the series, but you got to get in the shower, love. Like, but I guess it's also just to add to the hilarity of the scene and to add to the hilarious nature of Chainsaw Man, because even Aki hops on the phone with Makima and he's like, yo, why you keep sending all these dangerous ones, these insane people to my house, dog? Like, what's going on? And again, Makima, as she does, pacifies him with saying, it's because, you know, I know you get them on a good leash, man. You're a great agent, so to speak. I understand. It's like, Makima, every time you do something messed up, put somebody in a bad bind, you always gotta add a little sweetening to it, don't you, huh? Like, when it's with Denji, it's like, yo, you're worthless, you're gonna die, but hey, if you be good, live, you know, let you sit on my lap or something. Like, it's always a little extra thing to make them feel good amongst a situation that they really don't want to be into. I'd imagine Aki really doesn't want these two nut jobs in his apartment, especially Power, that is a little bit, you know, not quite fair in the cerebellum, you know what I'm saying? Like, he probably doesn't want these people in his apartment, but Makima's gonna make him feel a little bit good so that he carries on with his day. And then we cut to, yet again, it gets a little bit raunchy in the, what would it be, Hayakawa residence, so to speak, I guess you would would say, because finally, as Denji is plunging Power's shit, which is disgusting, Power comes through and says, hey, you know, the whole goal that you was going crazy for while you fought two big devils, like, it's time. And initially I wasn't gonna let you. It was all just basically I trolled you. But considering the fact that you saved me from the Bat Devil, you know what I'm saying, you saved me from Hayakawa, Aki, because pretty much if Denji wanted to, if he was really on some evil hater shit, he could have had Power killed. He pretty much hid everything that went down with this whole betrayal that she did with the Bat Devil and whatnot. He pretty much hid it, which again, that's going to add certain layers and elements of Aki is starting to understand that Denji, he's a good person, he's an idiot, and that's why he even makes him make a pact with me, like, yo dog, you better make a pact with me that you're gonna listen to me. I've been around a while, I've been doing things, so listen to me a little bit and maybe you'll learn a thing or two about, you know what I'm saying, this business. But in general, it's pretty much showcasing certain layers of, again, Denji really will protect and help fiends and devils. And we get the reports from those people of like, oh, the chainsaw man, he was, you know, he told me he don't even care about rescuing me and whatnot. So it's adding extra layers and elements to this character Denji, that he's not just a cut and dry, I'm a superhero or I'm a bad guy. He's pretty much an idiot that does what he feels is right. Like, that's bottom line. He's an idiot that does what he feels is just. But anyway, Power is like, hey, three squeezes left. 3 squeezes. I'm sorry, we are definitely down in depravity in the shonen manga, anime, and in general world, because how we go from dreams of treasure, dreams of leadership and royalty to 3 squeezes. But Power basically lays down the gauntlet. You got it. We can do this. She closes them in the bathroom. And yeah, I believe we end off in the beginning of chapter 12 of the manga. And hands down, another fantastic episode. It wasn't, well, no, it was action-packed. I was going to say it wasn't that. It was as action-packed as last episode. Again, probably not as menacing because the man-bat devil thingy-majig was a lot more fearsome than the devil that they fought here. For a second, I thought, did they reinsert the muscle devil? I had to look back in the manga. I was like, oh, okay, no, this devil was indeed in the manga, and Denji did get his arm chopped off, and that was the introduction again to Aki's powers. But if you're noticing, going alongside the whole idea of Denji's dream, right? Denji, of course, he has simple dreams, and I love how he stands up for himself and says, like, yeah, this may be small time, I may dream small, but I'm just as serious about my small dream as your revenge or whatever dreams you have. Like, I'm very, very serious. But you're also seeing fall into place little by little is Denji went from being alone in a shack with a little pup, a little, you know, devil dog, so to speak, to completely alone, to now he's starting to have a surrogate family, and it's kind of being facilitated to a certain degree thanks to Makima, but nevertheless now he's living with Aki. Now he has power, even though she stinks like shit. Like, so now he's actually getting the family that he always wanted. Like, he's no longer alone, he's no longer broken, destitute, like he's actually living somewhat his dream, even if it's small time. Like, you better respect his dream, and I love it. And next week's episode, I guess we get to see the 3 squeeze jam, you know what I'm saying? 3 squeeze cheese, you know what I mean? But overall, honestly, fantastic episode yet again. The introduction to Aki's powers. Curious what you guys think about this whole situation. For starters, do you think that next week we're going to actually see Denji's going to actually finally get a little part of his dream come true with that 3 squeeze dream? Or is that going to be totally bogus and Power's playing him yet again? Also, your thoughts on Makima facilitating them to Aki's house. Is there anything further to that? For manga readers in particular, were you screaming in your chair when you saw Kobeni and Himeno for the first time in this episode? And your overall thoughts and expectations on where this gigantically insane but amazing and stank series is going? I'm just here for the ride and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving the switch of ending songs every episode. I haven't addressed that yet, but I really enjoy the visual change and whatnot. But that opening too, happy da da da, oh my god. That's all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Subscribe and hit that bell to get all notifications, baby. Yeah.